Reviews, man. Last of Us episode 1, Jesus H. Christ.
Yeah. Told you that first episode had to set it off.
They did it.
Yeah, they did it in the first, I guess, stanza act was what, a half hour long. So
Yeah,
the
about 30
the
minutes.
whole episode was like an hour and 10 minutes, and I think the rest of the season is gonna be like 40 to 50 minutes,
Yeah.
something like that. But they really kicked this bitch off the way it's supposed to be kicked off. Great acting.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
I already knew this, but the way the guy at the beginning was explaining it, the scientist, this shit can actually happen. That's what makes it so fucking scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I found a TikTok video. Some dude was talking about, yo, the scariest thing about fucking The Last of Us was that fucking beginning.
Yeah.
It was like, this could happen. I was
could
like,
actually happen.
and it sounds like
You ever seen a video of it happening?
to the ants. Yeah, I seen it happen on the ants.
That shit looked creepy
Yeah,
as
it's like
fuck.
crawling,
That
like
shit was
growing through their body.
zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
And the way they framed it was like, what if the earth got a little warmer? And it's like, oh shit, the
Oh
earth
god,
is
climate change right
40
now.
degrees in January, nigga. So it was like,
yeah.
oh shit, cordyceps is coming, nigga. They gonna mutate. They come over, nigga.
Did they explain that like that in the game?
No. It was no
Yeah, that's-
explanation.
No.
Okay, so they did that for the
But that was the
casuals.
concept. That was the context of why they even came up with it.
Yeah.
It was because of that.
Okay, so they basically did that for the casuals and the people like me
Yeah.
that didn't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Scare the shit out of people. I tell you that.
That's a fact.
Nigga,
It's
what?
like,
Shit.
Episode 1. That's how. Yo, HBO don't miss.
yeah,
What is
very
wrong
rarely.
with HBO? Yo?
They got money.
Yeah.
Money. That's really
No,
what I
it's
mean.
not even money because fucking Stars got money, Netflix got money,
Wow.
all these other companies got money. HBO don't miss.
WB Warner Bros.
I don't know who they got over there. Whoever be writing this shit or coming up with the concepts would be like, hey, we should tackle it. Whatever the fuck.
Yeah, the
Whoever's
green.
that.
Yeah, whoever's over there right now.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Bella Ramsey as Ellie?
I think she did a good job. I like her. I thought she was really good, actually.
Yeah, she was cool.
It's not even a difference.
She didn't win me over quite yet. She's not yet. It's something a little. I don't know if I'm still seeing her as the girl from Game of Thrones or what.
Maybe.
Or maybe I just got a picture of Ellie in my head that's just not her. I don't expect her to look exactly like her, no shit
Nigga.
like that. But
The one they turned down looked exactly like her.
Oh, yeah?
who they
Yeah,
turned down?
let me see. Let me remember her name. You keep talking.
But yeah, she didn't win me over quite yet. I'm still trying to get used to her. I mean, she has the attitude of Ellie.
Yeah.
So, that's, pretty spot on. So I like what she's doing so far. I don't know if physically I like the look of Ellie right now.
Caitlin Dever.
Caitlin, I don't know what she look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, how'd y'all feel about the race changing?
It wasn't that much of it.
What do you mean?
I mean, they made Joel's daughter half black,
You know, I want to talk about
No,
that.
they just
I
made
don't
her.
really
They
give a-
just made her not white.
racially ambiguous.
We don't know. We don't know if she's half black
Joel
or
isn't
not.
a white
No, she
man.
is. That's
Pedro
Danny
Pascal.
Newton's daughter.
No. What I mean is,
Oh, you mean
For-
like the mother and
yeah, because
Joe?
we don't know what the mother looks like because they haven't showed us, so I don't know. But the point is,
I mean,
them niggas ain't white,
yeah.
so she not gonna be white regardless if the mother was white. So her not looking exactly white. What did you think?
No,
was
but
gonna
you know the purists, why isn't everything like the game? They want everything take for take, shot for shot like the game.
What did you think was gonna happen once they announced that Pedro Pascal was gonna be fucking Joel and that Gabriel Luna was gonna play Tommy? They're both Spanish people, so by transference of that, the daughter's not gonna be white.
To be fair, like she can pass as white because
Is
she was
she-
in that Dumbo movie, and
Fuck, she
I
can't?
swear
No,
she
no.
was in that Dumbo
She was
movie.
younger and she had her hair straight.
Them
Yeah, I
Four
know.
Cs,
The only thing that gives it away is the hair being kinky.
No, but you can.
And she got the-
No, you can't.
But you can look at
She got
racially
that
ambiguous
tint.
people and can tell they got that little tint on them.
If she straightened that hair, you couldn't tell.
Yes, you can.
You can
yes,
tell she
you
got
tell
a little
in the
something in
face,
her.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's
You
not
wouldn't have
that,
thought she was white. You just know.
Nah.
You can't tell.
She
like
could've been
that,
Puerto
man.
Rican or
You can
something.
tell now, but
No, I can tell everybody that's mixed race. I can tell most of the time.
You
You
can't
can
tell with her. Yeah, I can't tell with her.
I saw
It was somebody else. It was somebody else. I can't think of it right now, but you can't really tell.
No, I mean, she
That's
got-
why I was
she-
like, man,
she
y'all
got-
just
she
As
bitching.
soon as
got
she
a
came on
hue.
screen, I was like,
Well, I
Because
could.
her hair.
Well, you could. Well, not even that.
I can look at her facial
The
features.
tint.
You can't
in
tell
the
in
tint.
Dumbo.
No,
I never
tint,
seen. I never seen the movie.
She white as hell.
No.
Every
she's
every
a little
half,
brown.
every
She not
half
like
black, half white person got a little tint to them.
she a little brown.
Most of them do.
It's not that dramatic to where she's black.
No.
Ain't
I'm
that
not.
serious.
I'm not saying
No,
that.
but we know what white look like.
I'm just saying
and
I
we know
wouldn't. I wouldn't automatically jump to white. She could have been Spanish or some other type of thing like that as well. Well, not necessarily even black. Just not white. Is my point.
It's not even that serious. I don't even.
It is not.
It's not,
It's
yeah.
really not.
It's right. It's not. But
It's really not.
she did a great job for the half hour that she was in the show. really sold it. I didn't know she was whatchamacallit's daughter
until
Bobby put it in Discord.
Yeah. She looks just like her too.
Just fucking like her. I like this new batch of like actresses kids.
Yeah.
And what they're shaping into. I think we're okay on that front. I can't say the same thing for music, but I think in cinema and TV shows, I think we're good with this new batch that's coming out.
Yeah.
How do we think? Do we think that it needed to be shot for shot with the game at all? Or
no.
Did HBO do a good enough job of telling the story how it needed to be told? Certain shots, certain Easter eggs, and things like that.
I think they did a good job, and because it's a show, there's space to like add more to it. So like that whole scene in the front with the TV show interview thing, whatever. That's like shit that wasn't in the game, so that adds a little bit more to it to like explain to people first coming in to get an idea what the fuck is actually going on. And like we got to spend more time with Sarah because I think in the game it just starts in the house, and I think they do the exchange of the watch. She falls asleep, wakes up, and starts looking for Joel, and shit sort of pops off. So like with this, you got to spend a little time with her. They get to like sprinkle stuff in the background of like when she was in class and the kid was twitching because he's already infected and shit. So you see the light flashing. So you see that little bit of shit like that. See how the world is kind of behind her, the background, like the shit is popping off, going crazy, cops and shit is flying around. So you get a little bit more a feel like how the day was when the world sort of like exploded on people.
Okay.
So like they get to do shit like that, like flesh things out more, spend a little bit more time with certain things. So I fucks with it.
Okay. What else? So the entire season 1 is going to be about 9-10 episodes. And
it's like 9.
And they say they're going through the entire first game, right?
That's what I've heard recently.
So now the actress that they have is Ellie. Do you think she's strong enough to carry a show on her own? Because season 2, if they're pretty much gonna have, I think they're gonna have a season 2. And
I think so too.
I hope not.
They have.
You don't think they'll have it? You don't want to?
I just say yeah. I hope
think
not.
They have to.
What, second season?
Yeah.
Why not?
I think if this show was a hit, I've seen all this is the highest rated thing on Rotten Tomatoes ever and IMDb, so it's for sure gonna get a season 2. But we know what happens in the second game. So do you think the girl that plays Ellie right now is she enough to carry on the main character role?
I have to see more because she was in the episode, but she wasn't the major focus of the episode. Like obviously the first half was spent with Sarah, and then it sort of switched focus to Joel. So then we saw some Joel, and then towards the end of it, they meet up, and you get a little bit with her, but you don't get enough, I think, to be like, all right. But then also, there's a bit of a time skip. There's a time skip between the first game and the second game if they just jump straight into that. But they don't have to jump straight into that because there is stuff that happened in between the first game and the second game. So if they really wanted to, they can do that, and then they'll have free range to kind of just do a bunch of shit in between before they get to the point where they go into The Last of Us Part 2 if they choose to do that. But I got to see more. I mean, obviously it comes on Sunday, so the next episode is tonight.
Or do you think that HBO takes a hard left and doesn't kill Joel?
I mean, they could do that too.
Because you don't get rid of Pedro Pascal in 2 seasons of a show of anything.
I mean, you could.
I mean, it happens all the time. We lose main characters of shows, but not this quickly.
I mean, he's on the third season of a show where he doesn't even show his face. So it's like he could do. They could absolutely do that. Like if it's about the story, it's about servicing the story, not the actor.
Right.
Shit, I just don't want.
So it's kind of like Game of Thrones in a way. We're like,
I mean,
anybody could go.
Yeah,
anybody can get it.
I kind of don't want it to be like Game of Thrones. You go too far from the source material, then they making up shit.
But I mean,
they'd have to kill him then.
I don't know HBO to do that though. To have just 2 seasons of a hit show and just call it quits.
Watchmen.
Yep.
Had 1 season and dipped out.
People didn't fuck with that.
No, I think people were fucking with it.
Us geeks, nerds, and shit.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about
like
the public. It has to reach farther than us.
Lovecraft.
Has to reach farther than black people.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it does.
We liked it because it was sci-fi and black people.
That budget was high as fuck with that shit.
I know. It's nothing more important than black people. Fuck that.
Ask them. I mean, HBO know that, but ask the fucking
I mean
middle America.
Yeah, I feel you.
But all around, I like the show.
No, it's a good show.
So far.
Yeah.
They did a scene in there better than the game.
Which one?
The one when Joe punched the shit out of that guard.
And beat the shit out of him? Yeah.
Beat the shit out of him.
I was like, damn, that didn't happen in the game?
Yeah.
All right.
It's like bitch. And then it makes sense for the character because he had the flashback into this is what he felt like he should have did. If he'd have did this when his daughter was still alive, she might not have got shot and she might not have died like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, so it's like he's taking out that frustration, that 20 years of just pain on this motherfucker.
Do you think if the show goes into a third season, it'll tie into the third game?
It depends when the third game come out.
Yeah, I heard the third game was supposed to be like a multiplayer. Didn't they announce?
Oh no, that's something they was working on since 2020.
Yeah,
something different.
Yeah. So they're working on a multiplayer thing that does have its own like life and story attached to it. And then there's Last of Us Part 3. I think because the development cycle of video games is so long, I don't necessarily think it would be viable for them to like wait for that. They would have to just sort of do their own thing.
Chris, what we do? What fuck nigga shit we do?
Because it took them how long from the first one to the second game? Like almost a decade, right?
Yeah.
That shit was on PS3. What I'm talking about?
Yeah, it came out in 2013, the first one, and this one just came out 2021. So that's 8 years.
Yeah. So you're gonna wait what?
Shout out to P Diddy.
6-7 more.
So
years?
at least 6, right?
Right.
But yeah.
So, how many seasons do we think the show gets?
2.
At least 2 or 3. I didn't play Last of Us Part 2, but I was watching something or listening to something where they're saying in Last of Us Part 2 there's 2 different distinct, I guess, parts in that game. So they're saying maybe season 2 can be like the first part, and then season 3 could be the second part of Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
Like, because I guess there's, something happens and there's like a shift. And I don't know if it has to do with the character shift or just in general story shift. I don't know because I didn't play Last of Us Part 2. So I'm not 100% on what they meant by that. But so maybe at least 3, but definitely 2.
And this works out a little better than Game of Thrones because, they ran out of source material, but now they have Naughty Dog next to them. They could just, all right, we can make up anything.
Yeah, plus they got the guy who wrote the shit.
Yeah, they got the guy who wrote the shit
working on the show. So he might be able to do all the ideas that he wanted to put in the game that he couldn't put in because budget-wise and all that kind of shit. So
third season might come with a game.
Yeah, who knows?
So, that might be like the announcement, like, hey, third season.
Yeah, we got a game.
Yeah. We'll see.
We will see. But so far, so good. I'm fucking with it.
Facts.